But we live in a very individualistic society, and we don't think about other people as much as we should. So if we could just take the time every day to think, hey, how is Kristen doing? How is Adam doing? Or if they look a little glum, let's talk to them. I think that would go a long way in preventing, bullying, school shootings, and a lot of the adverse effects of social isolation and alienation.
So this semester, I took this course with David Karp at Skidmore College about restorative justice circles. And for a part of this class, my friend Ruby and I went down to South Glens Fall High School, and we did community building circles there.
To me, restorative justice is all about listening and getting the chance to know the people around you better.
Having a deep conversation with someone is it's such a normal human thing that we've lost contact with.
I think a lot of the problems we have in schools have to deal with that sense of inclusion, that kids act out when they don't feel like they're listened to, or they don't feel like they belong, or they feel like who they are is not acceptable.
I was able to get out the things that I needed and take in also all the information that I needed. I learned respect for all the people in the circle, and I learned how to listen to people a little bit better.
So most circles start off with an icebreaker or a check-in round. During our first week, we did that ball game. Something that's kind of relatively low stakes, so that way if people want to interpret a question more deeply and answer it really kind of in a vulnerable state, they can.
So actually, Sela makes me laugh all the time. I have a lot of classes with her, so I see her all the time, and we always laugh together, and she's a really cool person. Thank you.
What I realized the difference was with the talking piece being passed was that every person had an opportunity to have the floor and then decide whether or not they wanted to use it. Instead of just being I gotta throw my hand up to get it, and I don't want everyone looking at me when that. It's just, now I have it, and it's my decision. And that's something I think is an important differential. To have the power to speak, allow someone to make the call for themselves.
So after you have this sort of icebreaker or check-in round, how's your day, how are you feeling, you get into the topic that you want to talk about. For Ruby and I, we actually asked our students at the end of our first circle, what are the things you want to talk about? And they gave us a huge list of stuff that they wanted to discuss. So every time we went in, we came in with one of the topics that they wanted to talk about, that they told us about in the first week.
One week, we were planning on talking about how the students felt that their voices weren't heard by the administration, but then during that conversation, the subject of school shootings, safety, and youth suicide came up.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. You're okay, take your time.
We were Boy Scouts together for a very long time, up until he took his life. And the day goes by, we're out of business.
We're not here to be therapists, right? These kids are in the circle to build community, not talk to us about their issues. One of the big things that we need to do by the end of circle is get them to collaborate, because it's not about them talking to us, it's about them talking to each other.
The latter half of the circle process is meant to shift from that emotional space where you've uncovered something and guide it towards what's the next step. How can we use this information to make the school a better place?
I really want to go off the last point about mental health. Maybe saying, what do you guys think you can do to strengthen your community as a whole to make sure that somebody within your community isn't going to feel so excluded or isolated as to get angry and think about doing something like this.
I think all the school shootings stem from some type of bullying situation. If we all become like nicer and more have more empathy towards each other, then I don't think as many school shootings would happen.
Be there for a person. Ask them how their day is. Like, I had an issue, and I had literally met Adam 5 seconds ago. I texted him, and he was there for me. He was like, if you need anything ever, text me. He's such a good person, and there's so many other good people in the school that you can do that. I can be your person. You can be mine. I can be yours. I can be all of your people. And it's not like there's just one person. You can have an army of people. It's as simple as that.
You get to talk about things that you wouldn't necessarily talk about in a normal classroom setting. You can get personal about things and talk about things that you might just bottle up otherwise. But when we're in the circle, everybody's very respectful of everybody else's opinion, and we all feel that we can open up to each other and we can talk about those crazy things that pop up into our minds, and everybody still nods and accepts us for who we are, and everything that happens in the circle stays in the circle.
I'm very fortunate and lucky to have such great friends such as Sam, Parker, and Nick, and many of you in the circle, and I think that's one of the reasons why I can feel so healthy mentally, and we all keep each other healthy mentally. So it's very important that we open up and try to invite new people, because the hardest step about forming an army around you is finding the first person.
Often we do this closing activity called Head, Heart, and Feet, where you share something you're thinking about, something you're feeling, and then something you're taking away from that experience or something that you're going to do about it. And I think that's really symbolic of how circles are structured.
Being here and sitting here and having this conversation really hammered home just how powerful this sort of a format and just a simple conversation can really be for allowing everybody to understand each other a little bit better.
There are kids that want to do this every week. There are teachers that now want to do this every week. And I think that all comes from the understanding that there is a need for community and a need for discussion. And we get so overwhelmed with digital stimuli and getting caught up in all of the other distractions that are our life. We just don't take advantage of those opportunities. Circles give you time to slow down and just talk to people.
I knew circles worked, but I didn't realize just how powerful they can be and bringing people together in such a short amount of time.
It's just give us circles. Find a time and give us circles.